watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Crime, corruption, and criminal justice. AmCham, the American Chamber of Commerce, is shining a light on these topics here at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel in a luncheon that's looking at how these affect Jamaica's trade and investment potential. I'm Elon Parkinson. Let's take a look at the highlights.
One of the things that I realize is that having these forums, it provides us with an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to improve. And all members should give your organization a round of applause. Put your hands together for it. For weeks, I was talking about business unusual. For weeks, that was the last one on the economy that you guys had. And I was in cocktail conversation sounding smarter than I am just by virtue of having been in the room. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out today. I'm going to apologize for the National Security Minister, Dr. Horace Chang. He did intend to be here, but he was called at the last minute to Parliament. I believe he has a parliamentary committee that he must be at, so they've summoned him. The numbers are important in these committees to make quorum and to participate in discussions at Gordon House, so he won't be with us today. The DPP, the Director of Public Prosecutions, Paula Llewellyn, is here. Thank you very much for being here with us today, as is Dirk Harrison, the acting head of the Corruption Prosecution Division at the Integrity Commission. Always glad to have Professor Anthony Clayton, a respected criminologist, here with us today. Jason Fraser is the country rep of the USAID. Thank you very much, and looking forward to hearing their presentations later today. At this time, I'm going to invite Alison Peart, the president of AmCham of Jamaica, to give the official welcome.
Good afternoon, everybody. You know, we look so officious and so quiet. It's very, very important business, but I'm hoping today you're going to learn a lot more. You're going to leave here understanding more about some of the issues and, more importantly, with some solutions. Because it's one thing to speak about our issues, but if we don't find a solution, we're just a talk shop. And I love Nationwide on the radio, but we don't just want to talk. We want to come up with some solutions. So as the president of the American Chamber of Commerce in Jamaica, we thought it very important. We talk about how wonderful the economy was. Our last session was business unusual. But if we have crime issues, if people Jamaicans don't feel comfortable going about their daily lives, if our foreign investors don't feel comfortable, if our children, who are our future, have issues, where are we as a nation? So we thought it very important to bring together a panel that would engage in the dialogue about crime, corruption, criminal justice. How does it affect our trade and investment? Because it makes no sense to talk about our GDP growing or our debt to GDP if we're dying. It makes no sense if our future is tied to crime. So this dialogue is very, 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 very important, and I'm very happy you're here with us.
Okay, the question today is how much crime and corruption and a dysfunctional justice system are actually inhibiting the development of Jamaica and inward investment. Because we don't just have one problem, we have quite a complex array of problems. And it's quite hard to know how much we should attribute to any one of these and how much any one of these is contributing to what has historically been a very low rate of growth and significant difficulties in attracting inward investment and retaining domestic capital and retaining human capital. These are the headline ones. We have one of the highest rates of violence in the world. We have a large number, a significant number Of gangs, about 80% of our homicide are gang-related. The rest are primarily domestic violence. So the fact that we have a large number of gangs is clearly a major factor in maintaining one of the world's highest levels of homicide. There are fundamental challenges still in our system of governance. As I'll be going on to say in a few minutes, we have people in public life who help to create this problem with gangs and high levels of violence, and that link has never been yet severed, and that is still a challenge that we have yet to face. What, of course, that does is it undermines the moral authority of government. If you have a situation where all the bad guys are out there and everybody in government is honest and competent, it's not really very difficult to deal with the problems of crime. The problem is when the boundaries between the two are blurred, and when you have criminals who are getting high-level political protection. At that point, it's much, much harder to deal with the issues. Of course, what that feeds is a culture of cynicism, low trust, and that has a great deal to do with sustaining a high level of violence. In any country where you see that people do not trust the police and do not trust the justice system, they're much more likely to have recourse to violence to solve their issues and disputes. So it's partly reflecting the fact that we've still got deep weaknesses in our system of governance. But let's put this in a little context. There's only one demographic for whom violence is the leading cause of premature morbidity, which is young males, late teens, early 20s. For every other demographic, it's actually cheeseburgers that are more likely to kill you. We've got issues with, like every other country, with steeply rising rates of non-communicable diseases. And we can't also forget the fact that we have perennial challenges with energy security, increasingly with water security, which is related, because years ago we made the decision that everybody must be on a piped water supply, which means that we're now committed to a program of pumping water up hillsides, which means that if our energy system goes down, our water system goes down too. In hindsight, perhaps that wasn't a very good decision. So we've got issues with energy, water security, and more generally food and access to resources. We live in a seismically active part of the world. We live in the hurricane belt. There's challenges with emerging exotic diseases, and of course we've got the background issue really serious now, as people have started to realize with climate change. You may have heard that this summer is the hottest ever recorded in Jamaica's history. And in fact, there's now real grounds for concern that we've gone past an irrevocable point, and that we will not ever revert back to the low temperatures of the past. So this is something that we may now have to make a permanent adjustment to.
Doggen Global is an integrated multidisciplinary professional service firm in the Caribbean region. We are integrated as one regional firm and provide several professional services, including audit and assurance, advisory, tax, risk, and legal. Our advisory services focus on our clients' most critical issues and opportunities: strategy, marketing, organization, operations, technology, transformation, digital, advanced analytics, corporate finance, mergers and acquisitions, and sustainability across all industries and geographies. Growing your business through mergers and acquisition, raising finance, or looking to join public markets requires specialist advice. Doggen Global provide a full range of corporate finance services, from initial assessment of strategy through to deal completion. In-depth knowledge of industry sectors and markets provides valuable insight into specific opportunities and risks for your company. Our corporate finance specialists assist clients to develop an acquisition approach, identify targets or interested parties, instigate negotiations, and help conclude transactions. Our global reach allows us to provide advice and local knowledge to assist with foreign acquisitions and sales. How Doggen Global can help. If you're looking to sell your business or plan an exit strategy, Doggin Global can help you with initial preparation, valuation, and marketing to potential investors, negotiation through to tax minimization and investment planning. Doggin Global corporate finance includes business valuations, raising finance, financial restructuring, negotiations and vendor protections, IPOs or flotation, management buyouts or ins, key management incentive schemes, succession planning and development, preparing businesses for sale, exit strategies, contact information, website www.doggin.global, email info@doggin.global, Caribbean headquarters, Doggin Global, Doggin Towers, 4749 Trinidad Terrace, Kingston 5, Jamaica. Telephone 876-929-2518, 876-926-5210, 876-630-2011.
One of our highest priorities of the U.S. government in Jamaica is to work with our counterparts to interdict Jamaican and Caribbean-based transnational criminal activity, including narcotics and arms trafficking, trafficking in persons, and financial fraud targeting U.S. citizens. The U.S. government has also invested heavily in supporting anti-corruption initiatives with the civil society and Jamaican government, as well as supported improvements in the justice system. In total, the U.S. government invests about $12 million in security-related programming annually, which does not include all the various partnerships and collaborations that our various U.S. government agencies have with their counterparts. In fact, USAID Jamaica just advertised a broad agency announcement to co-design our flagship community violence prevention activity with key stakeholders such as the government, academia, and private sector. This unique co-creation approach encourages key stakeholders to co-create and deliver the services that are vital to prevent youth crime and violence at the community level. Law enforcement and criminal justice are important to controlling crime, as we all know, and corruption. But we also have to address the underlying social challenges that both cause and contribute to crime. Within the broad range of U.S. cooperation on crime, and this is where USAID comes in, we partner with the government and civil society on a range of programs to address the root causes of crime in Jamaica. So in the area of community safety and security, and building upon past successes with community-based policing, USAID focuses on the strengthening of community-based and civil society organizations, the promotion of community-driven activities, the development of long-term champions of a culture of lawfulness, and the enhancement of ministries, departments, and agencies of the state to be more community-oriented institutions. In this way, we believe that we contribute to building safer communities, strengthening social cohesion, and improving civic engagement participation. USAID also works with holistic youth-friendly approaches that aims to assist at-risk youth in becoming active citizens through the engagement of different social, educational, behavioral, and recreational activities. This approach includes three main areas regarding youth involved in criminality: prevention, intervention, and rehabilitation, including diversion activities as alternatives to traditional incarceration for first-time offenders. Youth also develop skills through educational programs which introduce them to fundamental concepts in business, economics, individual accountability, and entrepreneurship. USAID expects that life skills and technical training will increase opportunities for at-risk youth to work within the legitimate economy, thereby reducing the likelihood of involvement in gang and criminal activity. In Jamaica, relationships with key public sector, private sector, and donor agency partners are being leveraged to create programs to build skills and to identify work options for youth. USAID also works in the youth remandee centers, which includes case management follow-up to facilitate at-risk youth acquiring job and education opportunities when they are released. In the area of corruption, the Combating Corruption in Jamaica project has not only built public demand for more effective action against corruption through awareness campaigns, but has also provided training to government and civil society partners to build capacity and increase advocacy. The project is expected to have an impact on the nation's capacity and the ability to effectively control instances of and attitudes towards corruption in general and political corruption in particular. So what's the role of the private sector in addressing the root causes? That's why we're all here today. Many of you are representing private sector organizations. How can the private sector be a key partner in addressing some of these root causes? Obviously, many of you are part of the community, and so you have an interest. Your companies are often affected by the high rates of crime and corruption. So it's important that government, international partners who support government, NGOs, and the private sector work together to address these issues. We've all been to various forums on issues surrounding crime in Jamaica. I think the private sector here needs to continue to ask itself what it is doing to address the issue. Clearly, advocacy is important to press for resources, accountability, and support in combating crime. But there's much more that can be done to invest in communities to make them safer and create opportunities for the next generation to be prosperous. Looking ahead, we welcome the opportunity to increase our engagement with the private sector on these challenges because of the energy and innovation that they typically bring to the table. USAID is a learning agency, and we are constantly exploring how to improve our work and increase our impact. So as we streamline our programs and look for new strategic partners, we invite the private sector to partner with us as we both work towards the common goal of helping Jamaicans thrive.
There's this sense of a godlike syndrome that during some transactions an oversight body must lap its tail or virtually hold its corner in the name of investment. There are different roles for each stakeholder. Each must stay in their lane and accept criticism when constructively made. On the contrary, ladies and gentlemen, potential investors, in fact, should be happy that the business environment observes the rule of law and that democracy flourishes with built-in checks and balances. If I were an investor about to enter Jamaica, it's incumbent on me and my handlers to look out for red flags and indicators of the environment. I name a few on a list that is not exhaustive. 1, determine the role of the oversight body. It must be effective, efficient, fearless, and it must be respected. What, if any, comment does the oversight body have to say on a process or an investment opportunity that you wish to enter? The engagement, ladies and gentlemen, of investors and investor confidence, existing and thriving, must be viewed on a virtual 2-lane highway. That is a 2-way street with rules and guidelines being applicable. 2, does the police service support and protect local and non-Jamaican community members? Do they communicate with all persons? Are they accessible at all times? Maintain a presence that the visitor or citizen believes and recognizes that if they do wrong, they'll be detected. But lines of communication must always be in place. For too long in this blessed country, the notion exists that unless someone knows you and you not knowing them, nothing will happen. That needs to end. In a time of real emergency, the joke is told, unless you have on speed dial a member of the police force, the response time to a complaint is sometimes unacceptable. Another thing that I would think an investor would look for, there must be a criminal justice system that is efficient and effective, and we must congratulate the learned Chief Justice for the renaissance and the role of the DPP's office in the renaissance that is taking place now. But we must also have financial services, a banking system, healthcare facilities. They must be adequate, to name a few components. Importantly, ladies and gentlemen, on Jamaica's stock exchange record, Michael Reagan, writing in Bloomberg Business Week, January 18, 2019, states the Jamaican Stock Exchange is the world's best performing. Its outperformance over the past 5 years is even more striking. Jamaica's stocks have surged almost 300%, more than quadrupling the next best performing national benchmark and septupling the S&P Standard & Poor's 500's advance. I make bold to say that the very important successes must be highlighted, with all the negatives on crime and violence reported in the last 48 hours in Jamaica. Also, the awards in the tourism sector must also be celebrated. However, we must do better. Ladies and gentlemen, what are some of the solutions? Government agencies must work together all the time and set aside jealousies and petty matters which have no place in a professional setting. Interagency cooperation and collaboration must be emphasized and practiced. We must build bridges and stop tearing down, emasculating, and ridiculing persons. The fact that you do not agree is no reason to disrespect. Professionalism is non-negotiable. We must have a review of the timelines to review governance structures. Oftentimes, pieces of legislation give you 3 years to review a legislation. You see in 1 year, nothing is happening. The parliamentary caucus needs to do something about that. We must enhance whistleblowing regimes and encourage the discourse, changing the discourse to, in my words, informer for live. Stop saying informer for dead, informer for live. I must admit, I'm an informer. I'm a proud one. I'm an informer. Tell me something today, I'm going to tell the police tomorrow. We need to modernize the law enforcement units and bring outstanding laws into operation. We need public education to sensitize the world that the perception of corruption or actual is not a reflection of the overwhelming majority of law-abiding Jamaicans. We need to ensure that the police and our oversight bodies work to regain public trust. The police must maintain presence, not just in hotspots, but also generally. It will help to rebuild issues of insecurity. I pause here as I listen to Professor Clayton. In the last month, I visited Cayman. The police carry no guns. A year before, I went to Turks and Caicos. The police had no guns. I visited Grenada a few times. The police had no guns. They have their problems, but I felt safe. I am walking in this, my beloved country, and we're turning and looking behind us every minute. But our Caribbean neighbors, and Professor Clayton showed us the figures, I feel safe. We need to look at that. Ladies and gentlemen, as I close, I reiterate that the government of Jamaica, the ministries, the departments, the statutory bodies, to name a few, must work united to create that package, that which is seen by the outside world, with all the various components and elements that they look at, and which they consider, and which will have the effect to harness growth and encourage investor confidence. But most importantly, we must leave our partners with the belief that integrity is non-negotiable. Honesty is paramount, not by word of mouth, but by our actions. And despite our problems, crime and corruption, that they can and humbly should consider investing in our country to bring about change for good. Acknowledging that the improvement of the basic standards of life may have the effect of changing behavior, but I readily admit we can't legislate for good behavior.
Great design is not only how things look, but also how well they work. GLC, more than meets the eye.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show. And Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
In respect of what it takes to inspire confidence, I'm a plain speaker, and I will say, I believe that what is happening in our country, education is the key. I believe that a lot of our children, some of those who come from environments where they are victims of poor and dysfunctional parenting, we need to reintroduce civics in all its forms back within the schools from the time of the basic school, because there are a lot of our children. People complain that, okay, are the schools not doing enough? But they may go to school, the teachers try their best, and they go back into an environment that is like a black hole of nothingness, because there's no value system, no values, positive values and attitudes. And yet if you take that child and you put that child in another environment, you have intervention, positive intervention, you would be surprised to see the beautiful diamond coming from the rough. So I'm really a big believer in education. Now, another pet peeve of mine is that, and I prosecute police officers, I do not subscribe to the throwing the baby with the bathwater approach. Everybody knows their functions best. But I am not a public official who believes, unless it is necessary in the interest of justice, to make gratuitous comments in terms of seeking to tear down my colleagues anywhere. And I am not into using speculation to put out there to join the call for crucify him, crucify her in the public domain, where you have the court of public opinion demanding, just like the little old ladies who were knitting at the time in the Tale of Two Cities and saying for the noblemen, chop off their heads. I am not into that. At the Director of Public Prosecution's office, we deal with two things: the law and evidence. Personal emotion, personalities, we are not into it. So even if the court of public opinion or any other opinion would like to see the guillotined head of an individual on a platter, if there is no evidence to prosecute, to mount a viable prosecution, then as a matter of law, we have to say so. And I will say, and it's the first time I'm saying it publicly, first time, and I say it with the greatest of respect, that this is why on occasion, when I've been asked privately, I have registered privately a concern when you have no firewall between agencies that both investigate and prosecute. Because if you are not careful, you run away in the court of public opinion, and the court of law has to catch up. And by the time it gets to court, after a lot of reputational damage has been done, when you look at it, and the defense counsel gets up and says, they are putting the prosecution in limine to prove what is there. The judge asks, and when you pare away what is there, there's nothing there as a matter of law. So sometimes in the court of public opinion, the members of the public would want to see one thing. But both the police and I know that in the court of law, it's either you have to have cogent, credible, reliable, admissible evidence. If you don't have it, then no matter how egregious the conduct of an individual is, then you don't have a case. Then you have to look at the second layer in terms of governance and accountability. And this is where public opinion, civil society can force the government of the day to make sure that all the particular oversight agencies, that they have teeth, that they are well structured, and that the will, the political will is there to make sure that the teeth are not rickety in the oversight agencies, but they can stand up. In other words, if you put a piece of cane in the mouth of the teeth of that oversight agency, the teeth won't come out. It is the cane that will suffer damage.
Riveting perspectives and indeed sobering statistics coming from the AmCham empaneled team here at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel. You're watching Business Access TV, serious about business.
We've entered the last month of the hurricane season. The country has so far experienced a good one, as no major tropical storms have made landfall. But it's never too late for a shower of rain, so continue to be prepared. Ensure that your home has the necessary canned food items stored away, as well as energy supplies to provide light in the event there is a power outage. If you need to know the nearest hurricane shelter to your home, call the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, at 876-906-9674. Hi there, I'm Adrian Atkinson, and this is Jamaica Magazine. It unfolds right now.
Good day, I'm Lorraine Mendez, and this is your JICE News for Tuesday, November 5. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says Jamaica is open to partner with other countries, including China, to create and assimilate new technology and innovations. He says this collaborative approach will effectively tackle the island's resilience and sustainability challenges.
We are excited to explore with your country the possibilities of pairing Jamaican minds and aspirations with Chinese experience and know-how in areas such as renewable energy, water security, agriculture, healthcare, and STEM education.
Prime Minister Holness was speaking Tuesday at the opening ceremony of the second China International Import Exposition in Shanghai. Jamaica is participating in the November 5 to 10 Expo as a guest country of honor. Mr. Holness expressed hope that the Expo would open doors and opportunities for Jamaican products and entrepreneurs in the strong and diversified markets of China. He also called for greater Chinese investments in various sectors of the Jamaican economy to include infrastructure, logistics, transport, mining, and financial services. The country currently benefits from 16 registered Chinese companies, which are pumping $3 billion into the Jamaican economy.
Jamaica is open for your business. My government's vision is to establish Jamaica as the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and most important, to do business.
The Ministry of Local Government will be distributing 25 2,000-gallon water tanks across all municipal corporations. The water relief program is to improve access to the commodity. Portfolio Minister Desmond McKenzie says millions of dollars were spent during the 2019 drought period to truck water to affected areas. He says the measures now being implemented are to prevent a repeat of the situation at the level experienced earlier this year.
Very shortly, myself and the Minister without portfolio in the officer in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation will be making a special announcement as to a collective response to the question of water across the country. We're going to be working closely with the National Water Commission through the Ministry of Economic Growth.
Minister McKenzie was speaking at the official launch of Local Government and Community Month. He says each municipal corporation will receive at least one water truck by the end of March 2020. Other measures include setting up water shops in more communities, with 2 scheduled for commissioning this week in Portland. In the meantime, rainfall over the past few weeks have eased drought conditions in the Kingston and St. Andrew metropolitan area. Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Senator Pernell Charles Jr., says this has also increased water catchment. Minister Charles says storage levels at the Hermitage Dam is above 95%, and Mona Dam, which is twice its size, is at 90% of capacity. The minister adds that work on the replacement pipeline along the Ferry Main Road is progressing steadily, and measures will be put in place to ensure no further delay of the project.
We are putting some timelines in to ensure that we have weekly, daily meetings so that the chamber, profiling, the berth, the berm, the bridges, cross connections are all done. Once those are done and we can get water up Washington Boulevard, all of these areas like Zayde Gardens, Don Robin Court, La Ventura, going down through Malines Road, all of those areas will see a return to consistency.
Minister Charles was speaking following the recent installation of a $2 million water supply system at Don Robin Court in St. Andrew. Installed by the National Water Commission, the system includes 4 1,000-gallon water tanks and a pressurized pump. The Commission will fill the tanks 3 times per week, bringing reprieve to residents who have been severely impacted by the break in the 18-inch transmission main. The Jamaica Urban Transit Company, JUTC, is looking to increase its fleet of buses with the acquisition of diesel and electric vehicles. Minister of Transport Robert Montague says the JUTC will also be repairing 15 of its articulator buses next month.
Electric buses are much more expensive to acquire, but they are cheaper to maintain. And they give you a better ride, they are good for the environment. And JPS already has put up 14 charging stations across the island for general use.
According to the Transport Minister, the electric buses will be able to run for 8 hours and have an additional battery. Education State Minister Orlando Terrelong is imploring the nation's youth to work hard with persistent dedication to realize their goals in life. Minister Terrelong was speaking to students at the Go Higher conference held at the Jamaica Conference Center on Thursday.
Preparation, passion. Those are 2 things that you must never forget. Have a passion for what you want to do in life and make sure that you are prepared to do every single thing you need to do to get to where you want to in life.
The Go Higher conference, which is in its 2nd year, was organized by the Jamaica Tertiary Education Commission. Its aim is to empower students and provide them with useful information about college preparation, brand building, entrepreneurship, finance, and accessing higher education. And finally, Director of the HOPE program, Colonel Martin Rickman, is reiterating his appeal for more public and private sector entities to offer internship opportunities to HOPE participants.
Even if it is just one young person that you can take into your doors, that we can pay a stipend whilst we're training them on the job, even if it is one. If every company in Jamaica were to do 1 or 2 or 3, just a few, we can reach to many more of our unattached youth in Jamaica to help them to be better.
Colonel Rickman was speaking at Friday's graduation ceremony for 14 windscreen wipers. Participants are part of a 3-week windscreen wiper intervention initiative facilitated by the Heart Trust NTA, the National Service Corps, HOPE program, the Jamaica Constabulary Force, and the private sector. They were exposed to sessions on civics, conflict management, family life management, and career development.
This is only but a stepping stone for each of these young men. This is, let's call it the first step. I don't think it is, but this is a first step in their successful futures. Each and every one of these young men, I'm confident, are going to do well in life.
And that's it for JI's News Today. I'm Lorraine Mendez. Thanks for watching.
Go on, I work for the fitness, man. No, the fitness. I'm a care fitness, man. I'm paying a tax officer.
Oh. Yeah. But you don't have to run, man.
Oh, respect.
No, man. You mean you don't have to go in there, man. You can pay vehicle fitness online.
Yeah?
Yeah, man. TAJ make it easy for you now. You know, so now the excuse.
Yeah?
Yeah, man. Respect, man. Hey, you still have to work on your fitness doing now.
I'm going to deal with it online.
Transformation is happening across the public sector. Many services are now available online. We are building a better public service for all. Brought to you by the Transformation Implementation Unit.
Up next, the latest happenings out of the office of the Prime Minister.
National Security Council considers 2 new pieces of legislation. Debate begins on Heart Trust merger bill and fire victims get keys to new home. You're watching Jamaica House Weekly. I'm Anthony Morgan. Prime Minister Andrew Holness is currently on an 8-day official working visit in the People's Republic of China. He left the island Friday with a delegation consisting of Industry and Commerce Minister Audley Shaw and Minister of Foreign Affairs Kamina Johnson-Smith. On his arrival Sunday, Mr. Holness met with members of the Jamaican diaspora in the country. He's tapped to make stops in 4 key Chinese cities where he will be holding bilateral talks with President Xi Jinping, municipal leaders, as well as other public and private sector officials. Prime Minister Holness will also be addressing and touring the China International Import Exposition. While in the Asian country, he is to get a first-hand view of China's shipping and logistics operations and will visit several historical sites. Mr. Holness will return to the island on November 10. Until then, National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang is in charge of the government. Before his departure, the Prime Minister was in Western St. Andrew Friday to hand over keys to a rehabilitated 5-bedroom home for fire victims. On July 9, a 1-year-old died while 14 children and 11 adults were left homeless after fire destroyed their home along Bay Farm Road. A new dwelling was built for them at a cost of $8.01 million under the housing component of the HOPE program. Mr. Holness says the $1 billion HOPE initiative will address the housing needs of the poorest among us.
It is distributed island-wide, and each member of parliament has been given 5 housing solutions, so they can, based upon their demand and in consultation with the HOPE Secretariat, determine each year 5 housing problems that they have that they need to solve, and they can use the resources.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness has called for greater parental supervision and protection of children from preventable catastrophic events such as fires. He made the call following Friday's deadly fire, which claimed the lives of 2 young boys and injured 2 small girls at Paradise in Norwood St. James. Mr. Holness expressed deep sadness at the tragedy and urged parents to meet their obligation of ensuring the safety and protection of their children. Following a meeting of the National Security Council on Thursday, the Prime Minister announced that the Constabulary and the Defence Forces would beef up security for the Christmas period. The security operation will see the deployment of 400 personnel to tackle the challenge of dons, guns, and gangs. During the meeting, Mr. Holness was updated on the advances made in several crime-fighting legislation, the 33 convictions secured by MOCA, and the potential impact of ongoing civil unrest in Haiti. Later Thursday, the Prime Minister also received an update on plans to build a new Parliament building at National Hero Circle. The meeting involved the board and management of project managers, the Urban Development Corporation, as well as architects, design collaborative architects, and town planners. The team had the winning design in the Houses of Parliament competition with their mock-up out of many won people. A day earlier, Mr. Holness was meeting with a delegation from the Office of Utilities Regulation and the Jamaica Social Investment Fund. Those discussions centered on projects that are aimed at improving the lives of the Jamaican people.
This is truly a great tragedy. It saddens me deeply, and I'm certain that the teaching staff and the school community generally is very saddened by this, and we want to extend to Benjamin's parents our deepest sympathies.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness, during Tuesday's visit to Clancarthy Primary School, where 7-year-old Benjamin Bear was killed by a runaway garbage truck the day before. Mr. Holness instructed the Ministry of Education to launch a probe into the freak accident. In addition to tightening the safety and security procedures of the school, the Prime Minister said an investigation would be carried out to see what measures could have been taken to prevent the incident. Prime Minister Andrew Holness was in Parliament on Tuesday to open the debate on amendments to the Human Employment and Resource Training HEART Act 2019. The bill will see to the merge of the HEART Trust NTA, the National Youth Service, the Apprenticeship Board, and the Jamaican Foundation for Lifelong Learning. They will form a new entity, the HEART Trust National Training and Service Agency NTSA.
Until we took the decision to merge the entities, many unattached youth were turned away from one agency and redirected to another, and in the process, many fell through the cracks. Now, every single person who knocks on the door of the HEART Trust NTA is given a roadmap for a productive life and a meaningful future.
And during a question and answer segment in Parliament Tuesday, Mr. Holness said 2 pieces of legislation were being developed to give permanence to the National Security Council. They are the National Security Council Act and the National Intelligence Act. He said the acts would allow government and opposition the chance to discuss sensitive issues of national security through the Internal and External Affairs Committee of Parliament. Back at Jamaica House, the Prime Minister received books from young writer Canton Hardy and chef Wenford Simpson. And that's how we close out Jamaica House Weekly. Be sure to join us next time for more of the news stories coming out of the Office of the Prime Minister.
If you no want pop down and fenke, you fi burn mosquito and run with dengue. So no make water cycle in open container. For them we read up under the danger. Usher them out, run them away. Trap them with the zapper and down them with spray. Use mosquito net and mosquito screen. Protect your household, now make them come in. If you no want pop down and fenke, we fi burn mosquito and run with dengue. If pain lick your head and your joints and your eye, and you want fever meat and your temperature high, it could be dengue, don't hesitate. See a doctor, don't self-medicate. For some painkiller can make you bleed and you will try to recover and no succeed. We no want pop down and fenke. We fi burn mosquito and run with dengue.
A message from the Ministry of Health.
The human papilloma virus, also called HPV, is one of the most common sexually transmitted infections. HPV infections are also one of the main causes of cervical cancer. The government is seeking to protect our girls by providing the HPV vaccine free of cost. Watch this next feature for more on the HPV vaccine.
Globally, cervical cancer is the second most common type of cancer in women, with over 85% occurring in developing countries. Every year, 528,000 new cases are diagnosed.
and there are approximately 270,000 deaths. By 2050, without any intervention, the number of diagnosed cases of cervical cancer is expected to increase to 1 million per year, with approximately 90% of the deaths occurring in developing countries like ours. A major factor is the human papilloma virus, HPV, of which there are approximately 200 types that infect epithelia, or skin tissue. At least 14 types of the human papilloma virus have been found to cause cancer of the cervix. Types 16 and 18 are responsible for 70% of cancers of the cervix, which is the second leading cause of cancer-related deaths in Jamaica. The virus can be transmitted through skin-to-skin contact, from mother to child at birth.
Current estimates indicate that every year, just under 400 women are diagnosed with this disease, with approximately 185 dying from the disease, with the majority of deaths occurring in women between the ages of 40 and 64 years of age.
A prevalence study conducted in Jamaica in 2010 revealed that the overall prevalence of any type of HPV infection was 54%. Cancer-causing HPV types were detected in 34.9% of the women, and HPV types 16 and 18 were found in 10.5% of the general population and in 71% of women with abnormal pap smears. This reality has prompted the Jamaican government to take the initiative to prevent cervical cancer through the introduction of the bivalent human papilloma virus HPV vaccine.
The World Health Organization, WHO, recommends that HPV vaccines be included in national immunization programs as a core strategy for primary prevention against cervical cancer. WHO states, Mr. Speaker, that HPV vaccination for girls ages 9 to 14 years is the most cost-effective public health measure against this disease.
More than 70 countries around the world, including more than 20 countries in Latin America and the Caribbean, have already introduced the vaccine. Several studies and monitoring by the World Health Organization, WHO Global Advisory Committee on Vaccine Safety, proved that HPV vaccination is safe and works extremely well, decreasing the number of HPV infections and related precancers. The bivalent HPV vaccine, introduced by the Ministry of Health in schools at grade 7 to girls ages 9 to 14, provides for 90 to 100% protection against HPV types 16 and 18. The vaccine is offered free of cost.
Bear in mind too, by the way, the cost to administer one of these vaccines, for us, the cost is somewhere in the region of $7-8 US. If you go into the private sector, you're looking at anywhere from $11,000 to $15,000. So it's not inexpensive.
This vaccine is not mandatory, and beneficiaries received opt-out forms for parents and guardians to give or refuse permission for their girl child to receive the vaccine.
We can take it that the indication, if anything, is that they want this. They identify with this. I remember one girl indicated that her mother actually called her aunt, who is a nurse, for advice. So that spells good. It says that persons are prepared to consult, get information, and then make informed decisions. And so that is going well.
Approximately 22,500 girls were targeted for the vaccine's introduction in 2017, with each girl needing 2 doses given 6 months apart for full protection.
Generally speaking, the process has gone smoothly.
The school-based strategy for implementation seeks to facilitate greater access to the targeted population. This covers the cost for social mobilization and communication,
cold chain equipment, training and sensitization, and procurement of vaccine and vaccination supplies. And this disease prevention strategy will save the government millions. The Ministry of Health estimated that annual cost for the program after introduction will be 73.3 million Jamaican dollars.
In Jamaica, the estimated cost is of the just under 400 cases annually, Mr. Speaker, is some $274 million. I should point out that this figure is only for radiotherapy and does not include diagnosis and chemotherapy.
And for the individual, not just the emotional and physical trauma caused by this cancer is removed, but the financial burden.
In the United States, cost on diagnosis is approximately some 15,000, just under 16,000 US dollars. If the patient survives for a year, this rate goes up to approximately 30,000 US dollars.
Despite vaccination, persons will still need to do their routine pap smear to check for any threat or signs of the cancer, as the key to effective treatment, if it should occur, is early detection. For more information or to have your concerns answered, you can call the Ministry of Health's toll-free line 1-888-1-LOVE or 1-888-663-5683. Also email hpvinfo@moh.gov.jm. You can also visit the website moh.gov.jm as well as social media channels.
In spite of all our differences, along with all our problems, I believe
We've come to the end of our show, but only for today. Do catch us again tomorrow on this station. Here's a reminder to send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm. You may also connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and of course, our Twitter page. On behalf of the entire team here at the GIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access TV.
Serious.
Serious.
Serious about business.
The Jamaica Stock Exchange celebrates 50 years of adding value to the Jamaican economy to personal and corporate investment portfolios. Tonight, the Stock Exchange looks back from 1969 to 2019, where it has been hailed the world's leading stock exchange. I'm Elon Parkinson. This is Business Access TV, serious about business.
Good evening, and welcome to the JSE's 50th anniversary cocktails and award ceremony. A round of applause, please. My name is Terry Carell Reed, and I stand here honored to be your MC for this evening for a number of reasons. Number one, for any company, whether domestic or international, to achieve 50 years is an indication of the stewardship, the vision, the innovation, and the adaptation throughout the years. Do you agree? It is also a reflection of the persons who stand behind the brand or the company. Those persons are the staff, the companies that listed, brokers, and of course, investors. Without all of you, none of this would be possible. Number two, I was swollen with pride when I opened the Bloomberg article and I saw, "Welcome to Jamaica, the home of the world's best performing stock market." And I clutched the pearls that I wasn't wearing and I said, "This is rich, real rich." I saw photos of Mrs. Street Forrest. I saw Mrs. Rita Humphreys Lewin. These were people that I've seen in my local newspapers, and I said, look at Jamaica. Very small, very obscure market. So I stand here honored to be the MC for a company that is a nation builder. Lastly, I'm happy to stand here because years ago I was financially illiterate. Saving, yes, because most of us as Jamaicans, that's what we do, right? We save, but we don't necessarily know about investment. And my best friend came to me and he said, "Terry, with all the saving that you've been doing, I think you should make your money work for you. I think you should invest." And I said, "But no, investment is for rich people, money people," which I'm not. But I'm grateful for my broker, Ryan Strong, who introduced me to the Jamaica Stock Exchange, introduced me to companies listed, and now I stand here with a portfolio that has moved from being very, 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 very conservative to being moderately risky. And on my daughter's 7th birthday, I awarded her, I should say, I gifted her her own portfolio. So you see, thank you very much. So I stand here not just as your MC for this evening, but I stand here as a very proud Jamaican. I stand here as a shareholder, and I stand here as an empowered citizen, changing the way my generation will think when it comes to handling and investing money. So thank you so very much for being here. We have a fantastic evening lined up for you.
It's with a sense of pride
nostalgia, and eager anticipation that I welcome you here this evening. As I contemplated my welcome to you, the single most important element of our journey, that's the 50th journey, that resonates with me is that since 1968, we have come this far through teamwork, perseverance, and a deep understanding of our mission. I believe it is an understanding rooted in the fact that the exchange's success is not singularly for shareholders, the government, or the financial community, but for the entire Jamaica. I did not have to go very far to find a poem, a quotable quote, or the words of some famous author to communicate what has been our reason for being for over these 50 years, as our jingle that one hears when you call the stock exchange says it all. 50 years of practicing transparency, integrity, and efficiency to protect and advance stakeholders' welfare, the Jamaica Stock Exchange. I know many people are familiar with that jingle. JSE for you and me, benefit from listing and investing, Jamaica Stock Exchange. This is a call that we have been making over the years to encourage investors, to encourage companies, to encourage Jamaica to see the stock exchange as the vehicle for wealth creation. It is through these principles and the rallying cry that we have weathered the storm and embraced the victories of being resolute and militant and becoming the Jamaica Stock Exchange triumphant in accomplishments, especially that of being named the best performing exchange globally for 2015 and 2018. Indeed, we are little but tallow. A journey of 50 years is a blessing. We thank God for the lessons learned, the experiences gained, and the wisdom that comes through the process of perseverance and tenacity. From a paper-covered meeting table at the Bank of Jamaica to an efficient computer-based network system that is linked into an electronic trading platform where transactions are automatically matched and settlements are processed in a paperless environment. And to our credit, we did that before the New York Stock Exchange. From being a private, closely held mutual company to becoming a demutualized exchange with publicly held and listed shares. We have consistently made progress, and our highest points were when we demutualized and listed our shares on April 1, 2008 and July 23, 2013, respectively, and when we launched the junior market on April 1, 2009. I paused for that because I think it was a signal moment. These occasions signal a new era. In the case of demutualization, we separated the regulatory arm of the exchange from the commercial functions, so as to eliminate any perception of conflict of interest and to ensure a fair, orderly, and transparent market for shares and other securities traded on the market. This has brought a high degree of confidence to the market. In listing our shares on the exchange, we expanded our ownership base and subjected ourselves to the same rules and regulations governing other listed companies. And that was hard, because some of the times when you are regulating, you don't know how hard it is until you actually start doing it yourself. Finally, in launching the junior market, we provided greater access to capital, which encouraged and expanded investor base. These experiences have strengthened our core. The progress we have made was not achieved without setbacks and challenges, and the path we have clearly charted over the years for further expansion of the capital market locally, regionally, and globally is oftentimes slow and painful. However, our pledge to you going forward is that we will continue to seek out and deliver market opportunities in a deliberate and constructive manner, exercising good judgment as we seek to expand our markets. In the words of Coffee, I told you we are young. Gratitude is a must. We thank God for the journey, the earnings, and just for the plus. Gratitude is a must. Once again, welcome. I invite you to enjoy the rest of the evening's proceedings.
Thank you so very much for having us. And of course, gratitude is a must.
A journey of 50 years for the Jamaica Stock Exchange. When we come back, the awards.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
So we have now come to the awards presentation segment, and I invite the great Mr. Michael Anthony Cuff to join me on stage, and together we'll present the awards, which will be done in 3 categories. Please make him welcome. So we have 3 categories: the 60s, known as the formative years, the 70s to 90s, the shaping years, and the millennium, the technological era.
This is the period of ska music in Jamaica and the birth of the Jamaica Stock Exchange.
Absolutely. At this time, we pause to invite to the stage Mr. Ian McNaughton, chairman of the Jamaica Stock Exchange, who will present the awards to the recipients in this category. We begin with founding member. The first award is in recognition of his sterling contribution to the development and establishment of the JSE. He was a man of vision for the financial sector and was instrumental in helping to lay a solid foundation for the JSE in 1968, from which the exchange has grown strong, thanks to his early works and blessings over the years, even up to January 2019. He's dubbed by various names in Jamaica and across the world, but to the JSE, he's the architect and bridge builder of the Jamaica Stock Exchange. The JSE is proud to honor his name, his undeniable legacy, and his vision that formed the JSE to becoming the #1 stock exchange in the world, not once, but twice. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great honor and humility that we wholeheartedly present the first and most deserving award to the late, most honorable Edward Seaga, former Prime Minister of Jamaica.
I invite you all to stand and join hands in applause as Mr. Edwin Mackey makes his way to collect the award on behalf of Mr. Seaga. We now move to the affiliated companies. Now, the second set of awards will be presented to 5 affiliated companies that were instrumental in contributing to the development of the JSE by providing persons to serve on the board. In no particular order. Terry?
The first award goes to the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Jamaica.
The second award goes to the Bank of Jamaica.
And the third award, the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service.
And award number 4 goes to the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica.
We move to the next category, listed companies since inception. The third set of awards will be presented to 6 companies that have been listed on the exchange since inception in ranking order of seniority. The first award goes to Panjam Investments Limited.
The second award goes to, I knew this organization when it was just called the Bank of Nova Scotia Jamaica Limited. Now, these days, Scotia Bank Jamaica Limited.
The third award goes to the Caribbean Cement Company.
Award number 4 goes to Carreras Limited.
And the 5th award goes to Salado Foods Jamaica Limited.
So the 6th award will be given to the Cleaner Company Limited.
And the 7th award goes to the Jamaica Public Service Company Limited. Okay, I don't believe we have a representative for JPSCO. So now we move to longest member dealer. Ladies and gentlemen, the award goes to NCB Capital Markets Limited, formerly known as Edward Gale and Company Limited.
In this segment, awards will be given to those who have built on the foundation of the JSE and assisted in its shaping by making significant contributions to its growth and development. Now, the first award goes to a remarkable woman who is the first and only female chairperson of a stock exchange in the Caribbean. She's also the longest-serving chairperson of the JSE, leading the Jamaica Stock Exchange in this capacity from 1984 to 1986, and again from 1995 to 2000. Ladies and gentlemen, I speak of none other than Mrs. Rita Humphreys Lewin.
So we now move to the longest serving board members. The second recipient of this award is the longest serving member of the JSE's board. This gentleman stands as the quiet colossus of the Jamaican stock market. Ladies and gentlemen, the award goes to Mr. Edwin Mackey, CD. The other awardee in this category goes to none other than Mr. Alvaro Casali, CDJP. This gentleman is the longest serving board member of the Jamaica Central Securities Depository and the JCSD's Trustee Services Limited.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
Through the years here at the Jamaica Stock Exchange's 50 years in service. Let's go back to more awards.
Next, we have the third category. This is the millennium, the technology age. This category is to recognize those who contributed to the dynamics of catapulting into another age, the age of technology. Boy, I tell you. You know, these awards will be given to those who further continued to build bigger layers on what was already there, and who saw greater vision of possibilities as time evolved into another dimension. So we're going to now honor past chairman of the JSE. The first recipient is someone who was board chairman from 2000 to 2006. I speak of Mr. Roy Johnson, JD.
Let us hear it for the board chairman who served from 2006 to 2011, Mr. Curtis Martin.
We move next to the board chairman from 2014 to 2016, Mr. Alan Lewis.
The next two awards will be presented to the persons who served as general manager of the Jamaica Stock Exchange's subsidiary, the Jamaica Central Securities Depository, JCSD, since its inception in 2008. The first of the two awards will be presented to the general manager who served the JCSD from 2003 to 2004 and moved on to serve the JSE in a similar capacity and subsequently to an even higher capacity. Ladies and gentlemen, I speak of none other than Mrs. Marlene Street Forrest, CDJP.
The second and last award is being presented to the general manager who served from 2005 to 2017 and steered several ventures of the JCSD, including the birth of the JCSD's subsidiary, the JCSD's Trustees Services Limited. And that award goes to Mr. Robin Levy.
This segment of awards is for those dubbed the architects of the junior market. They helped to carve and mold the ins and outs of the junior market, and it would not be possible for the junior market to be established without them. In recognition of your sterling contribution to the development of the JSE's junior market, we recognize this gentleman, the Honorable Audley Shaw. The first company to be listed on the junior market of the Jamaica Stock Exchange is Access Financial Services Limited. Congratulations. We also have to recognize Senator Don Webby, who was instrumental in lobbying the government for the tax incentives. Mr. Stephen Whittingham, a board member of the JSE, will collect the award on behalf of Mr. Webby. We now recognize the steering committee of the junior market, beginning with Mr. Leo Williams. We'll move to another Williams, Mr. Christopher Williams. He is followed by Miss Judith Ramlogan. And last but not least, recognizing the members of the steering committee of the junior market, Mrs. Marlene Street Forrest.
Looking back to outstanding achievements by former general managers and chairpersons of the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Coming up next, the employees.
Our women are the backbone of our society. They deserve to be protected and respected. Domestic violence is not okay. Speak up and speak out. No more violence against women.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, no organization can be built without the employees' contribution. And tonight, the Jamaica Stock Exchange takes great pleasure in recognizing its employees that have contributed to building the stock exchange over the years, which has led to the company receiving numerous awards and recognition, locally and globally. And for the stock exchange being named not once, but twice, in 2015 and in 2018, as the best performing stock exchange in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the staff of the JSE for contribution to the stock exchange 25 years and counting. This award goes to Mrs. Charlotte Eddie Nugent for contribution. This now is for JSE 20 years and over. Number one, Mrs. Doreen Parsons Smith. we have Mrs. Suzette White. As we welcome our next recipient, Miss Suzette Price. Let's make welcome Miss Michelle Serdar. Up next, Mrs. Annette Paran-Hedman. JSE has benefited handsomely, tremendously under her guidance and direction. I speak of none other than the inimitable Mrs. Marlene Street Forrest.
So we move on to the recipients, and we honor them for their contribution to the exchange 15 years and over. Beginning with Miss Suzette McNaught. The next recipient in this category is Miss Ricalia Robb. Our next recipient is Mr. Byron Winter. He is followed by Mr. Neville Noble. And closing out the category 15 years and over is Miss Tracy Winter. So we move now to the contributors to the stock exchange 10 years and over. We begin with Mrs. Cadil McNaught Hermit. Let us hear it for Mr. Andre Tulloch. And he is followed by Mr. Neville Ellis. Let us hear it for Mrs. Angela Bailey. Mr. Michael Johnson. And rounding out this category 10 years and over,
Please put your hands together one more time for the staff of the world-class Jamaica Stock Exchange.
ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of your award ceremony. On behalf of Sir Michael Anthony Cough and myself, congratulations on 50 years. We wish to see you do 100 and 100 and 100 more, and certainly keep on knocking down those barriers. And I'd love to keep on reading about our stock market doing and being the best. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your company. Thank you for your time.
We're with General Manager of the Jamaica Stock Exchange, Marlene Street Forrest. Indeed, an illustrious career, certainly with the Jamaica Stock Exchange, taking it to higher heights and global recognition. Your thoughts on the JC at 50?
Well, the JCS at 50, we have come a far way, we're a long way. And you know, what we have done is we are in the digital age. And I'm pleased that we are properly positioned for the next 50. Because it is important that we see growth and continued development. And the JC is here in Jamaica, but we are positioned for the world. Globally, we are making progress. And soon you will see more about us in terms of the digital age. Digital assets, we will be looking at things like short selling, margin trading, all of those things that are really critical to the growth and development of the company.
Giving fitting recognition to employees, the way to close out the 50th anniversary of the Jamaica Stock Exchange's awards. Indeed, a stellar event attended by the movers and shakers in Jamaica's financial industry. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Elon Parkinson for Business Access TV, serious about business.
watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access TV.
Serious.
Serious.
Serious about business.
It was a meeting of two cities when the Montego Bay Convention Center hosted cocktails in Kingston at the Spanish Court Hotel, Worthington. Business Access TV was there to share in the moment.
First and foremost, on behalf of the team, I want to say a heartfelt thank you for being here. You could have been at other places, you could have been at other events, you could have been at other functions, but you found the convention center team very well to join us. So thank you again. All right? And so to go into this, again, just welcome, a heartfelt welcome. The Montego Bay Convention Center team is here. We have gone around, we have spoken to a lot of persons, but tonight it's very special for us because so many familiar faces, so many partners, so many clients, returning clients, possible clients, and the list goes on. So again, you will not hear me enough to say thank you, because that's a word that from the convention center, it's a part of us, and we really take pride in showing appreciation. This evening is truly special for us, for it has been a long time coming. Kingston has been a long time coming. And, Montego Bay Convention Center, of course, we opened our doors in 2011 and to the events and meeting industry. And, but connecting with our friends and our partners in Kingston has always been on the top of our mind. Over the years, we have received substantial support from our clients in Kingston. Therefore, this event had to be in our cards. And of course, we have a large deck, but you're on top of that deck. And we know good things happen in Kingston. So like many other parishioners, we packed up everything and we headed into Kingston on the town bus yesterday. Some of the team came in, when was it? Monday. And they say, Aaron, the traffic. And I said, it can't be worse than Montego Bay. And we found ourselves here sitting in this room 5:30 because we've said there's not one partner that is standing in front of us now that is going to be here and not see a team member from the convention center representing. So again, team, thank you. Hopefully, any guest tonight, and this is not meant to mean anything, but any guest tonight that have never experienced the convention center, unfortunately, you're in the minority. But what we want you to do when you're in Montego Bay, please come and visit. Sit with us, have lunch. Let's tour you. Let's show you the technology. Let's show you what some of our partners in this room have done with us. We have transformed the convention center. And of course, there are many events. And one of the things that we had looked at is how we put all the assets, the available assets, through our vendors, through our partners, together to really make the convention center what it is. The purpose of the convention center was never a self-sustained entity. It's to really contribute to economic development. And what we're measured on is not only profitability, but our economic impact. And we've seen it, especially in Montego Bay. But one of the initiatives that we had is to bring Kingston a little bit to Montego Bay as well through our friends and partners that are here tonight. So the Montego Bay Convention Center represents opportunities, one for us to think differently and see possibilities for now and the future. The center firmly places Jamaica as a viable destination for meetings, conferences, exhibitions, and of course, a selection of certain sporting activity that relates to sport tourism. So while the honor is mine to welcome you, I always want to thank you for taking the time out in engaging with us. Think differently. That is what I want to drive in your thought process when it comes to the Montego Bay Convention Center. Let us work with the possibility. Let us make the possibilities become a reality. The sales and events team, they're here tonight. And I really want to identify the team members. I know when it comes to this part, they tend to just come together. And when I start to call the names, they're going to raise their hands and they're going to say who they are. And of course, we all know them. So leading the sales and events team is, of course, our director of sales and events, Miss Mavoy Smith. Of course, there's Mavoy. We do have the sales managers with us tonight. You do have Donald Thompson. Where's Donald? Donald? There he is. There he is. Thank you, Donald. And of course, you have Alexia. Thank you, Alexia. And there's one lady here that she's a blend of food and beverage and sales. We call her catering sales. That's Trishani. So food is always important. So Trishani, thank you again. Trishani Austin. Our senior events manager, Kyan Henton. Many of you know Kyan. Many of you have been exposed to Kyan. Spearheading the senior events. Thank you, Kyan. So again, we have one lady that keeps us together. She's Michelle Gordon. Michelle is really our executive assistant and of course sales administrator. Sometimes we're based on a property, based on an events, we're pulled left, right, and center. If it's not for Michelle Gordon, we term her MG, the acronym MG, we would be all over the place. So MG's responsibility is to keep us together, keep us focused, and also keep us well fed. Thank you. ASEAN, many of you heard from ASEAN, know ASEAN PR, marketing, sponsorship. What else? And he takes the beautiful pictures. So with your permission tonight, ladies and gentlemen, ASEAN will, of course, on social media. I'm still catching up with technology. Social media, Facebook, Instagram, InstaChat. I got that right? Just joking. Just joking. So again, that's a team that is here tonight. And they're out, and they're here well represented. So, of course, Dr. Guntley, my second mother. Wave your hands for me, please. Thank you. John Woolcock, he heads up the events department for Jamaica Tourist Board. And of course, the Convention Center. We're now a part of the Ministry of Tourism. We're an agency under the Ministry of Tourism. John, very vital to our organization, very vital in terms of the partnership and to allow Jamaica to be recognized again, not only as leisure, but as meetings and conventions. Because really, the large groups that the Convention Center will and the future possibilities to bring into Jamaica, of course, will create that economic impact that we're pushing for Jamaica to recognize. Not only about profitability, but looking at economic impact, whether it be indirect or direct, to see how that trickles down for the entire geographic location to benefit. So again, that's the mandate and purpose of the Convention Center in partnership with our main sister agency, the Jamaica Tourist Board. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you again, and I do hope you enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you.
Corporate restructuring services. In today's evolving commercial and economic environment, businesses are continually seeking opportunities to manage operating costs and tax positions, as well as contain cash expenditures. Entity structuring can help achieve these goals, but often presents many challenges for multinational corporations. In addition, the OECD's Base Erosion and Profit Shifting (BEPS) proposals are expected to impact the bottom line of affected organizations and result in some business restructuring. Crow Jamaica delivers an integrated approach to clients' corporate and reorganization needs. Services include simplifying group structures, executing domestic and cross-border transactions including mergers, demergers, disposals, and company migrations, transferring assets and business units, aligning legal structures to business models, establishing national or regional hubs, converting subsidiary company structures to branch structures and vice versa, integrating legal structures following a merger or acquisition, providing practical advice and assistance throughout the planning, development, and implementation phases of corporate reorganizations, Crow Jamaica assists businesses and other advisors in developing and implementing efficient, cost-effective legal structures and business operating models. Our team can help you make smarter, more effective decisions. Let's have a conversation. Contact us at email people@crowjm.com. Website www.crowjm.com.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life. Highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
We're here at the Spanish Court Hotel, Worthington, for the Cocktails in Kingston. Why is it important for the Montego Bay Convention Center to have this event tonight?
It's very important to us because a few things that we have highlighted and wanted to bring forefront is that we recognize and appreciate our partners in Kingston, our clients in Kingston, our potential clients in Kingston. Of course, we do have these events just to mingle, just to share our thoughts process, not in terms of business, but just to get everyone inside a room. And of course, we just talk in a informal or formal environment, and we just get together. So that's really the purpose of our vendors, our partners, our agencies, from the ministries to our suppliers. We just get everyone in and show our appreciation.
You mentioned the Jamaica Tourist Board as one of your major partners. How has that relationship been?
It is excellent, and it is a relationship that has been in the making since our inception. The Tourist Board is very important to us. Jamaica Tourist Board, of course, is what we consider as our DMO, or destination marketing organization, that assists the convention center in not only marketing the facility to any other destination that would willing to come offshore, especially the international destinations, but what they do as well is to market Jamaica and assist us in not only marketing as Sun and Sierra Leisure, but to ensure that Jamaica is seen as a meetings and events destination that can host large group in a first world facility.
And speaking of that first world facility, tell us a little bit about the Montego Bay Convention Center and what people can expect from the venue.
Montego Bay Convention Center, managed by SMG, a North American-based company that manages 85% of the public facilities in the world. Of course, First World, now we have a mandate to ensure that that First World facility is represented here in Jamaica. And of course, Montego Bay Convention Center opened its door in 2011 to the events industry. And what we really do is to host events. I mean, regardless from your weddings to your largest expos, to your exhibition, to your conventions, to your sporting events, to your church events. So we're an all-inclusive package. We're a flexible facility. And what we do is to host any and every event. So that's basically what we do. And what to expect is our people. We have a set of well-trained staff, and events is our core business. And what we did in the initial stage is to ensure that our team members, they're fully aware of all aspects of event management, certified and also recognized internationally. So what you will expect from the Montego Bay Convention Center is the highest level of technology, the best aesthetics, theme, and the best management you can think of bringing your event from a thought process to reality. So that's what we're all about.
And finally, now that you're here in Kingston for this event, what kind of connections are you hoping to make at Cocktails in Kingston tonight?
Yes, we do have quite a few corporate partners in Kingston, but what we want to do is to bring Kingston to Montego Bay. get Kingston to come to Montego Bay, see what the convention center is all about. So for potential clients that we do have, it's just to mingle, to invite them, just to, a short presentation, show what we're about, and then of course to invite those potential clients down, and of course get them to know the convention center, come in, explore the property, do inspection, see the technology, see the staff, meet the people, meet the strength behind the asset, and then of course we go from there. So in a sense, it's really to have Kingston in Montego Bay, and of course to expand our business, which that's the whole intention.
The Montego Bay Convention Center opened its doors about 8 years ago. What have we seen from the convention center over the years?
Well, the convention center since 2011 to now 2019, we've done a little bit over 700 events. We've done a lot of weddings, we've done graduations, we've done car shows, we've done meetings, conventions. We're home to most of the major churches in Jamaica where they do their annual conventions with us. So we're home to the Jamaica Baptist, the United Open Bible, the Jehovah's Witnesses, you name it, we're home to them.
And as was mentioned, the Jamaica Tourist Board is a major partner with the Montego Bay Convention Center. How has that experience or how has that relationship been over the years?
Very positive. Having the convention center in Montego Bay means that we have the ability to go after larger groups that will support the hotels in the area. And without the convention center, this was a void. So, of course, having a state-of-the-art facility in Montego Bay opens up a lot of opportunities for us. And we're seeing where MICE planners are really taking a very close look at the destination, whereas in the past they might have said, you know what, this group is a little bit too large for Jamaica or for Montego Bay. Now it's on the table. Now Jamaica is even more viable.
And can you comment on the impact it has had on the tourism industry over the years?
The Montego Bay Convention Center, as Karen Benjamin, our interim general manager, mentioned earlier, that our core function is basically to support the community. So our aim is to bring in, as John just mentioned, the larger groups to Jamaica, so it will impact the hotels. So we basically get heads in beds. You'll have the coconut man on the roadside being able to sell more jelly coconuts, the cane man, the nightlife, so the Margaritaville's, the Pier 1s, you name it, so it's like a domino effect. So all partners involved will be able to get a piece of the pie.
And it's only been here since 2011, so can you comment on what impacts has been made to tourism before and now?
Well, again, as Mavoy just mentioned, it's all positive in the sense that we're getting more business, increased business, more visitor arrivals coming in. Conventions that would not have considered Jamaica, now they're looking at the destination, they're actually booking the destination. So again, it's very positive. We have become even more competitive in the marketplace.
How do you see the center being utilized in new ways to pull more visitors?
We are trying to focus more heavily on the sporting events. So as it is now, we host the NCAA, that's a basketball competition every November, and this competition is aired live on CBS. So not only Jamaicans get an opportunity to see what can happen at the convention center, but persons internationally will be able to see what we're doing, and they may think to say, okay, so I can bring a sporting event to Jamaica. So it's not just meetings and conventions, we're pretty much multifunctional, which is why in our different spaces at the convention center, there's nothing fixed. So whatever the event is, we can accommodate it. If it's a car show, we can do it. If it's basketball, we can do it. If it's taekwondo, we can do it. So you name it, we can do it.
And anything new from the tourist board that you can mention?
The Jamaica Tourist Board is always looking at new opportunities. We have a very strong team in the market, so we are pursuing a lot of new ventures. So it's going to be great for Jamaica moving forward. We're seeing it in our visitor arrivals. It continues to grow. And again, it's going from strength to strength. But we have a gem in MBCC, no question about it. And all of our partners, from the hotels, the DMCs, the attractions, it's all very good.
Your company has hosted several events at the Montego Bay Convention Center. Talk to us about the experience working with them.
It's an amazing experience working with the team there. One of the wonderful things about the convention center and the team is that level of engagement. They take on your project as if it's their own, and they're really involved from start to finish. And it's something that you really appreciate as a project manager and an event manager, because you want to be assured that all of the details of your event are taken care of. Usually you're planning an event from Kingston at the Montego Bay Convention Center, so having that level of oversight, that level of attention to detail is really very important to us. So it's something that we really appreciate. After a while they become your friends. It's really an amazing team there. So I'd recommend anyone to go to the convention center. And it's not just about the team, it's about the facilities, it's about the facilitation, it's about the accommodation of each and every request. So I can't say enough good things about them there.
And how important would you say a venue like this is for Jamaica?
Oh, absolutely, very important. I mean, Jamaica, as the general manager just said, Jamaica is more than just sea and sand. And it's very important that you have a facility that can accommodate local, nationally scaled, as well as regional and international events right here on our shores. It's an opportunity for various industries to be showcased, for us to stage events that have multi-tiered opportunities for varied groups. So for the hotel sector, the broader tourism sector, for other persons here in Jamaica, it really makes sense for you to have a facility like this in Jamaica. And I can only wish that they go from strength to strength in terms of the range of services that they offer that will ensure that we entice as many people here as possible to utilize the services and the facilities that are here.
Hi, I'm Peter Shakir from Event and Entertainment Services. We're an event management and planning company, and we do many events across the island and abroad as well. We also own Jamaica Bridal Expo, and this is my partner Joanne Paxton, and she'll talk to you a little bit about hosting Jamaica Bridal Expo at the Montego Bay Convention Center.
We've hosted the Jamaica Bridal Expo at the Montego Bay Convention Center for the past 6 years, and Jamaica Bridal Expo is at home at the Convention Center. Everything is positive about the venue, the grand ballroom, what you have the expo in, the conference room where we hold a conference on the first day of activities for the expo, and the staff at the Montego Bay Convention Center is absolutely amazing.
Thank you for tuning into our coverage of Cocktails in Kingston, hosted by the Montego Bay Convention Center. You're watching Business Access TV, serious about business.
I'm 36. I'm a husband, a manager, and still very good looking. In 2 hours, I have the most important meeting of my life. But first, it's time to play. The new Suzuki Vitara.
I wanted to be an educator because I believe that education is the most powerful weapon that can change the world.
My dreams and aspiration is to one day become an entrepreneur where I can employ other persons and help to build the country.
I wanted to go into development. I wanted to help people become better versions of themselves. Growing up, I saw a lot of violence, I saw a lot of crime, I saw a lot of poverty. The challenges are so many. The first one that comes to mind is the level of youth unemployment that's here.
Challenges that exist here in West Prospect Bogwalk are lack of awareness for educational opportunities or job opportunities.
Not many got a chance to do CXC or graduate from the secondary level. So that's a major setback for the people living in the community.
A way to alleviate this issue is training programs.
They need more opportunities, like to go back to school to get themselves a certificate so they can be able to work and create employment for themselves and their family.
push more entrepreneurship opportunity, encourage these youths to be creative and innovative in what they do, give them startup capital to start their business, invest more in the youth skills and talents.
The poverty reduction program is funded by the European Union, and it really is a program that focuses on the most vulnerable type of communities, making communities safer, making citizens more healthy, better access to education.
For European Union, investing in youth is an obvious choice. They are the future of the country. If we prepare them well, they will bring the change that Jamaica needs. That's why we invest in scholarships, internship, training in life skills and mentorship.
I received a tertiary scholarship from PRP to attend the University of Technology, Jamaica. It meant a lot to me because I realized that somebody else believed in me and somebody saw the potential that I have and somebody believed that I could actually achieve my goal.
I benefited by getting firstly an internship, and also they assisted my bachelor's degree financially. But critically, outside of the finances, the persons that were on the project, you know, the motivation that they provided, etc., it really provided a huge boost.
This is my third year at the MICO. This scholarship, it helped me to be able to focus only on my education here, because tertiary education is not cheap.
I was placed at ODPEM on the one-year internship program. It was really good. It was an opportunity for me to prove myself, to give myself a service, and also to gain experience in the working world, and to also provide for my family.
I plan to be an agent of change in my community by being a mentor, a leader, and a godfather for the youths growing up. Try to help them teach them a trade.
You don't have to be rich to help. You don't have to achieve greatness to start. I contributed to my basic school by providing them with the necessary resources that they need, that I believe that in the long run it will have a ripple effect on many, many persons.
Professionally, I manage the whole program, which is aimed at giving young persons the opportunity to, you know, do what I did, basically, to get their foot inside an organization. Additionally, I also have a little small business that I try to employ young persons to learn a skill, etc.
When you're persistent in life, when you're determined, when you're hungry for success, then you'll be able to accomplish and achieve anything that you want.
It has changed hundreds and hundreds of lives. Not just my life, my family lives, my friends' lives, etc. I want to just urge everyone looking on to continue these social programs. These are the solutions to the many ills that we face as a society and as a country and even as a world. So thank you, and I challenge you, continue it. It's needed.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
On this episode of Wealth Magazine Business Access, Robert Russell takes us on a time travel through his life as a successful entrepreneur.
Success breeds success, and the more successful you are in life is the more successful you'll become.
Russell's innate passion for hosting and creating business opportunities proved to be the perfect combination throughout his many business ventures. Over the years, he has made bold business moves tapping into industries such as hospitality and tourism, film production, and entertainment. to the restaurant business, a legacy that now extends to his children. Robert Russell continues to demonstrate that he is a strategic businessman with a passion for building brand Jamaica.
I'm Robert Russell, Chairman of Pier 1, Deja Resorts, and Deputy Chairman of Down Sound Entertainment, the producers of Reggae Sumfest. I was born in Kingston. I attended Calabar High School and then St. George's College. After I left school, I went into a real estate business and I moved to Ocherias to do the first all-inclusive hotel, Little Madness on the ocean. And then I went to Mandeville, where I ran the canteen for Alcan Kirkvine Works. I did also a restaurant there, operated a restaurant there called The Feeding Tree. And also Tunnel 10 Disco, that was the first real disco in Mandeville. And I spent many years in Mandeville. I became the president of the Chamber of Commerce there for 3 years. And then after that, I moved to Montego Bay and planned to start a hotel, restaurant, casino, movie studio, and those plans were put on hold by the government of the day because they figured the Jamaican people really weren't in favor of the casino at the time. So then I had to make alternate plans, and I acquired what is now Pier 1 at the time and developed it as probably the most popular night spot restaurant in Montego Bay. And in 1993, when Sunsplash moved out of Montego Bay, a group of businessmen got together and decided to stage a reggae show to fill that void, and then that's how Reggae Sumfest was born. There were quite a few of us, Godfrey Dyer, Johnny Guzang, about 10 of us who got together, and Mickey Morris and a few others. And we have been staging that show from 1993, so we have come a long way and have been through hell and high water. But Down Sound Entertainment, Mr. Joe Bogdanovich, actually bought the festival. Yeah, I'm deputy chairman of Down Sound Entertainment, his company, and we still produce the best reggae show in the world. We had a good childhood. My parents were not wealthy, but they pulled all the stops to make sure that we had all we needed, a good education. Whatever was within reach, they would provide it. And I was thankful for that. My mother was working at the Shell Company. She was quite an intellectual. She worked there for 40 years. My father was the best salesman I've ever met in my lifetime. He could sell an igloo to the Eskimos. He used to be at Home Electrics, and he would sell refrigerators and stoves and TVs and all of that. And then finally he moved to Mandeville, and he had his own store, his own Home Electric store. But he was the consummate. I mean, he could really charm the purchasers, and they would believe him, and he would guide them and tell them, this is not for you because it's too expensive. Buy something a little cheaper. This one will use too much current. You can't afford it, and they appreciated that. And we all learned discipline and a good upbringing. My brother was the big Christian in the family, and he still is, Gordon. And my sister Betty was the comedian. She was always making sure that everybody was kept in stitches and given jokes. And she still is doing that today. I don't know when she's going to get her life, but she continues to be my best sister, my only sister, the one I love very much. I think looking back, the most memorable times we had as youngsters was Christmas, because there would be a big cooking and you would get presents, and I mean, friends and family would be over, and the whole camaraderie of it was good. I learned to cook, literally watching my mother cook in the kitchen, and I learned to cook curry goat, which is the best curry goat in Jamaica, if I might say so myself. But it was fun. It was a fun time because I like to give, and I like to just help people to enjoy life. And I think Christmas was probably the best period of my life. I started school at Calabar, and then I left and went to St. George's College. And then when I left school, I started to do law. And I just couldn't wait to get into business and to make money. And the books really were boring to me, and I saw some great opportunities out there. And so I kind of abandoned law and went into the private world, doing some real estate, the hotel thing in Ocho Rios, Mandeville, a couple of businesses in Mandeville. And to me, that was more rewarding, to serve, to make people happy, and to fill a need that I had established and recognized at the time was more important to me than studying a lot. And I thought I knew everything at that point in time. I didn't need any more education. We were down in West Kingston in ganja yards filming. When you see ganja in that movie, those were not props. Those were the real deal. When we actually were to release the movie, the censors looked at it and said, no, this movie can't be shown in Jamaica. They decided to ban it.
Doggin Global Business Process Outsourcing. Doggin Global can help you with your day-to-day administrative and secretarial needs. We provide solutions for streamlining your accounting and bookkeeping procedures, so you can get on with running your business while knowing that all the accounting and statutory needs are being taken care of. Our BPO services include the following: bookkeeping, preparation of budgets, management accounts, and periodic financial analyses, provision of temporary or part-time accounting assistance, design and implementation of accounting systems, preparation of accounting manuals, payroll services, corporate secretarial services, assisting clients with their business entry strategy into the country, setting up new legal entities, maintaining minutes and other legal documents, non-executive directorships, preparing and submitting annual returns. For additional information, contact us at email info@doggin.global, website www.doggin.global.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On point, dissecting the issues. Offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On Point, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
When I grew up in Kingston, I went into the film business. I started working with Perry Hensel because he was doing a number of commercials, both local and overseas. And then he decided to make a feature film. It would be the first full-length feature film funded and written and directed by Jamaicans, which was The Harder They Come. I was assistant director to Perry, and my job was to find locations, find cast and crew, and you name it. And we spent countless hours working on that movie. I mean, we were down in West Kingston in ganja yards filming. When you see ganja in that movie, those were not props. Those were the real deal. And I had to have a letter. Myself and Perry had a letter from the Commissioner of Police that if we were held in a police raid or anything, that we were here making this movie, and we were legitimately working down in West Kingston. I spent a week with Bob Marley because Perry wanted Bob Marley to star the movie. But after that week, I said to Perry, I don't think Bob Marley is the right person for this movie because he's just so laid back and, you know, he's not that kind of up and energetic kind of star that you need for this movie. And I suggested to him to use Jimmy Cliff. And Jimmy had an album out, and I took the album to Perry, and he listened to it, and he said, yes, that sounds, you know, the music is great. And he also wanted to think of using Johnny Nash. But Johnny Nash was not really a Jamaican, so to speak, and I didn't think that he would fit the role either. But I took Jimmy to Perry, and immediately they hit it off, and we spent a fantastic amount of time making that movie, and I want to tell you, it was probably the best years of my life. When we actually were to release the movie, the censors looked at it and said, no, this movie can't be shown in Jamaica. They decided to ban it. So we had to get the Prime Minister at the time, Michael Manley, to sit down with the screening with the censors and Perry. And he said, yes, you can leave that scene. Okay, take that one out. And we went through literally scene by scene. And at the end of the day, we were able to release the movie. The premiere of the movie was at Carib. And people thought it was being broadcast, and people thought that they could come to the movie, but it was just the premiere, which was just invited people. So the entire crossroad was blocked from up by Regal all the way down to Tropical. I mean, there were thousands of people. I remember seeing Mrs. Manley, which is Michael Manley's mother, coming across the crowd on the top, just being like she's just floating. People were just passing her up till she got up to the gate to come into the theater. It was packed. I mean, it was unreal. And then you sat and you listened and you watched, and people laughed when they were supposed to laugh. And they were serious when they were, and you know, you realize that this movie was actually working. So that gave me a great deal of satisfaction, actually being a part of that whole piece of Jamaican history.
In the heart of a come, the heart of it fall, one and all.
Following the Harder They Come experience, I opened a hotel in Ocho Rios with Dickie Jobson, who was also in the movie business. He made Countryman, and we called it Little Madness. And it was an all-inclusive hotel. I eventually sold out my shares of that to Dickie Jobson. And I left and went to Kingston and opened a real estate company on Duke Street, 11 Duke Street, I think it was, and started to get involved in selling real estate, and got involved in a small development with Eric Deno and some other people. And then along came this whole question of Mandeville. My parents were there, and my aunt operated a coffee shop right at the corner of Duke Street and Harbour Street. But they had sold the building, and they asked, they'd given her notice to quit. And there was this ad in the newspaper for a canteen concessionaire for Alcan Kirkvine plant. So she said, draw up an application for me. This would be good because I could go and live with your parents in Mandeville. So I did that, and they asked for us to come for an interview. We did the interview, and at the end of the interview, we were selected to operate this canteen, but we had not seen what the canteen looked like yet. So when I actually took her and they showed us inside, it was a massive canteen with steam pots that cook 100 pounds of rice a time and feeding 1,500 people in a half an hour, and you know, round the clock into the mines. She said, no, there's no way that I can manage this. I didn't know it was anything as massive as this. So when we went to the meeting for me to tell them that my aunt said she doesn't think she can manage it, the lead person in that committee said, Mr. Russell, if your aunt can't manage it, that's fine. You're a contractor. You can employ whoever you want to employ. So they gave the canteen concession to me. And I didn't plan to have a canteen concession, but after I told them what a great job we were going to do, I said, all right, well, I'll start by Monday. And I took her back to Kingston, picked up my cousin, who was her son, who said he would come with me, and together we went into the canteen business and opened on Monday. Not 100%, but then we were there for 2.5 years, and then we even had to expand the canteen because they'd never seen so many people actually eating in the canteen before. In Mandeville, I also started a newspaper, the Central Express newspaper. And I was the editor and the publisher of the Central Express newspaper, which was published in Mandeville. And that too was a lot of fun. It was a challenge, of course, because we had not made our name as a newspaper, but over a period of time, we were accepted and started to do well. It was hard getting newsprint in those days, so eventually we had to end up buying newsprint from the Gleaner, which was not so good because they saw us as a competitor. But anyway, they eventually started to print the newspaper for us. It was easier than sending all the newsprint to the Mandeville and just print it there. But that was a great period in Mandeville as well. My love of an association with music started at an early age in my life. I used to play in a band at George's. It was called the George's College Band, but then it became the Presidents. And then after the Presidents, we formed Terry and the Hurricanes, and I used to play the conga drums and sing, and I was enamored with music. So the segue into Pier 1 and the disco and the hotel in Ocho Rios and into Reggae Sumfest was all very natural for me because it was my first love. I mean, music and film and radio were things that I was always interested in. I was always fascinated by. In 1988, I bought Radio West from the government. It was just a local radio station at the time, broadcasting for 4 hours a day. And I expanded it into an all-island radio station, called it Hot 102, and we were broadcasting 24 hours a day. I was able to attract the top talk show people in the business at the time: Wilmot Perkins, Tony Abrams' Breakfast Club, Cliff Hughes, and at one point Bruce Golding was also a host on one of the call-in programs. And then we really took on a life of its own because Hot 102 was where it was all happening, and that was a fantastic period of my life. Success breeds success, and the more successful you are in life is the more successful you'll become. There have been a lot of pitfalls along the way. It takes courage to succeed, but it also takes a lot of courage to fail. Because when you fail, you have to pick yourself up and you have to start all over again.
Sundays at 4:30 p.m. It's all about Home Sweet Home. Get your half-hour dose of the business of real estate, from laws and concepts to reality, building, buying, or renting. Or what about trends in decor or renovations? Home Sweet Home will keep you up to date.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show, and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
When Sunsplash decided to move out of Montego Bay, then we had planned to do an event, to do a 2-day event for that weekend. And then a few of our friends also had that kind of plan to do something. And so we just decided to join together. So all of us came together. And we did, and that was when Sumfest was born, where the UDC had designated that we have the event. It was a swamp. And in 13 weeks, we transformed it completely into a venue and had the first Reggae Sumfest in 1993. But that was quite an achievement, I must tell you, because when you looked at it, it was just complete water and mangrove. And, you know, we did a big job. And that's one of the reasons that I think Sunsplash moved, because when they were given that option for that venue, they just said, no way, they couldn't do the show there. Because they used to have it over at Montego Freeport, but that land was sold and it was going to be developed into housing and all of that. And then we looked at it and said, well, if it can be done, let's do it. And we did it. We transformed it. And the first Sumfest was probably the most successful that dancehall night, had the most people. And that's the beginning of what, you know, is now quite a well-known festival worldwide. It's probably the biggest reggae festival in the world. My son Jason and Anna Kay are operating Pier 1. They work and run Pier 1. And they built it literally from scratch up to where it is now. So, you know, all kudos, my hats off to them. I mean, I try to keep out of their hair as much as possible. But when I see something that's not going so right, they will hear me and they will say, okay, Daddy, okay, we will fix it, we will change it. And then my son Robin and my other daughter Shari are running Deja, which is a hotel right across from Doctor's Cave Beach, or just across the road. And it's an all-inclusive resort. And it was a natural step again into the hotel business, you know, because having done it before and having seen and recognized a need for a good hotel on that strip. And they're doing a wonderful job with it. I mean, it's full and the service is great, the food is exceptional. And, you know, it's good to have children. I tell God thanks every day for having children that have followed in our footsteps and are part of us and a part of our lives and work so hard, because I know friends that some of their kids are not even interested in their own businesses and they try to find something else to do on their own, but only to understand that you don't have to invent the wheel for them to be successful, and they're doing a wonderful job. Without them, I don't know if I'll be sitting here talking to you on this interview. And I thank the Lord that I've had a good family and they have been good children. And you know, as I said, hats off to them. I see a lot of scope for businesses, especially in tourism, in and around Montego Bay, Ocho Rios, Negril, these areas, that we can garner the tourism product and the Jamaican product, and we can make a good living out of tourism. The highlight of my career happened when I was awarded the APISA Lifetime Achievement Award for Excellence, because I never thought that I would ever get that kind of award. I mean, the people that have received that award are the Reggae Boys and Jamaica Bobsled Team and Usain Bolt and Ferdy Martin and Veronica Campbell and Chris Blackwell. I mean, these people I look up to. I mean, you know, these are my heroes. And to join that elite group of people, that is, of course, the biggest thing that could have ever happened to me in life. Success breeds success, and the more successful you are in life is the more successful you'll become. But it just doesn't happen overnight. I mean, there have been a lot of pitfalls along the way. It takes courage to succeed, but it also takes a lot of courage to fail. Because when you fail, you have to pick yourself up and you have to start all over again. And that's where the courage comes in, and you have to be strong. You can't allow people to take advantage of you, because if you're not strong, people will do that. They will see you as a weak person, and they will climb and sit right on the top of your head if you give them a chance. So you have to be strong, but you have to be not only firm and strong, but you have to be kind. An old friend of mine years ago said to me, he said to me, the same way you spread your bed on Friday morning is the same way you sleep on it on Friday night. And it resounded with me for many, many years, and it gave me an understanding that whatever you do in life will have repercussions. And the people that you step on when you're going up the ladder, those are the people that you're going to pass when you're coming back down. So be careful where you place your feet. Be careful whose head you try to stand on, because when you're coming back down, it won't be as nice as when you're going up. And my philosophy in life is to live every day like it's the last day of your life, because one day you're going to be right. If you live in a community, you have to participate. You have to be a part of it. I remember 2 old people that were really living in squalor, and I got a team and we went up there and we asked the neighbors to keep them for a couple of weeks, and we demolished the old house and rebuilt a nice little house, and they asked me if we could put on a veranda, and yes, put on the veranda. And it felt good. It felt good because a lot of the community people helped. We had to pay carpenters and some other people, but the people in and around the community, realizing that we were trying to help and to make life easier for them, they all pitched in and came and helped to clear up the rubbish and the rubble, and to see them back in their house now in a new house, it's a good feeling. I mean, we try to promote the music, so we give to the Boys Club as Reggae Sumfest instruments, Mobile Boys Club, and now they have a fantastic band. Wealth is a funny word. It gives a connotation of a lot of money. But to me, that's not wealth. Wealth is being happy. Wealth is having achieved in life, but satisfaction to me is more important than money. And wealth helps you to get the things you want in life and to do the things that you want in life. It's a vehicle. And it's also a stepping stone for you to be able to help others that are not probably as well off, because in life there'll always be people better off than you and always be people worse off than you. And don't believe that because you have attained a little bit of wealth or whatever it is that you might put the name on, that's the end of life and you have reached where you're supposed to go. No. Every day there is somebody that you can find to help. Don't care how small, don't care how big. And if you look for that person, you will find them. That's what will take you to heaven. Not going to church every Sunday, helping as many people as you can.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters.
Call us at 876-291-6233 or 876-376-4225. Email sales@batvja.com.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show, and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV, serious about business.
I'm Butch Hendrickson. You're watching BATV, serious about business.
Season 3 of Caring Hands has come to an end, and on this final episode, we will recap just a few of the many organizations making a difference in Jamaica. The Flow Foundation believes in providing support to the youth of Jamaica and helping to shape their lives. One activity used to bring this mandate to life is the Flow BizTown Camp.
BizTown is a Project Jamaica Junior Achievement, right? And we were really attracted to it. My boss was approached. He was very positive, but he asked me to give him my opinion, and there was no hesitation because a lot of people know BizTown, where they set up a sort of mock city or mock town, and there are companies in there, JPS, there's Flow, there's several others. And what it does is teach the kids in a real way what actually happens in business. So they learn that they have to work to get paid, and they do get paid, albeit in funny money, right? They learn how to spend that money buying commodities that are offered by the other companies in there. They learn how to transact business, they learn how to fill out checks, they learn how to fill out forms that companies use. So you're giving them an early introduction to some of the things they never used to have. And even if they have it, this is a more practical way of doing it. So these kids, you start to talk to them about getting into business, getting a job, and maybe even entrepreneurial thoughts are going through their heads. So that's, in a nutshell, basically why we couldn't not support this project.
Flow Biz Camp, which is a one-week camp catering to children in the surrounding communities. Most of them are aged 10 to 13, and it's an opportunity to expose them to business, how to run a business, how to operate a business, how to manage cash, how to manage responsibility. And many of the things that they'll learn here during the week are not normally taught in the traditional school curriculum. So we felt it would be an important lesson for them, not just for school, but for life and for their own personal development. Earlier in the summer, we had in about 9 communities, we had a 2-week summer camp, and in fact we took 10 students from each of those camps, and they are now here for the 1-week period. The summer is always a long period. Sometimes the parents can't afford to send the kids to summer camp, so we organize activities which allow the kids to be involved in some organized activity, something that they'll learn from, something which will help them for the upcoming school year, and something which ultimately will assist in their personal development and growth.
After years of neglect, the Hope Zoo has been restored to its former glory, and Caring Hands paid a visit to the zoo to get more insight from General Manager Rebecca Harper.
So what I actually do is I ensure that all the responsibilities are done at the zoo. I also promote the zoo and the Preservation Foundation, because we're that and foremost a preservation foundation. We educate and we try and enhance Jamaicans to know about preservation, recycling, composting, but also the protection of animals. We have a slogan at the zoo, and you can see it here, love them, respect them, accept them, and protect them. And we carry that message beyond just the animals. We tell the children that they must love each other, respect each other, accept each other, and protect each other. We tell the teachers the same thing to the children. So when you learn to be with animals and respect animals, because they don't speak, so you actually have to relate to them at a completely different level. You have to watch them, you observe them, come closer, be quiet. And when you learn to be around animals, you become a more patient, respectful, calmer person when even you're dealing with humans.
A zookeeper works with animals. They get interact with certain animals here, and we do help to medicate animals. You know, if it's a small injury and we can do it, we will do it. If it's something to do with the lion, the lioness, the zebras, we don't normally do that. So you'll call in a vet and you will sort it out. Getting a chance to work around a number of animals it is something good. So for one, I love feeding the animals. I love getting in contact with them, you know, so that is just my thing.
Anita Anderson, the founder of Anderson's Child Management, invited us to learn more about the work done by her organization, especially with her child support receipt book.
How we come about with the name of Anderson Child Management was from the child support receipt book, and with that I had to put my name to originate it. The child support receipt book is made to support both parents in transaction and to ensure there is transparency with the financial obligation. And it's a further reference and also for proper record keeping where parent is concerned. What inspired me to start this was a vision. Yes, I get a vision from the Lord how to make this book. And with my personal experience, I was able to bring it out into the market. The response out there sometimes, especially when I go to the courthouse to sell these books, is like parents, wow, how you come about this, how you made this very great idea, you come at the right place selling this book and stuff like that. And it inspired me. It really inspired me to know that I can be able to do something. The Lord has given me this vision to do something that really help parents. Father, sometimes at court call me, impressed with the book. Yo, come sell one of them books, they not call you. Don't know, you know, man not getting a receipt and all these things. So, you know, I smile and it really built me. My day, like if it's a very big court day, which is on a Wednesday, if it's a very big court day, I sell like sometimes like 20 books, 30 books. You know, and some parents feel bad in purchasing the book, and some really don't have the money. So I try to make the book as low as possible where cost is concerned. Some would say, go to the father, see him over there so I can buy one from you because when I spend the money, now give me the money, you know, and stuff like that. And some I would tell them, some why I put an example sheet in it because some really don't understand how to fill the book out. So that's why they won't purchase the book. So when the example sheet in it, they are able to follow.
Coming up on Caring Hands.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters.
Call us at 876-291-6233 or 876-376-4225. Email sales@batvja.com.
Caring Hands visited the city of Montego Bay in St. James to learn more about the Open Heart Charitable Mission.
Basically, Open Heart Charitable Mission started as a vision for myself in giving back. We came to Montego Bay because we saw the need of the homeless population and situation and the street people program. And after seeing the incident in 1990 when the street persons were trucked to St. Elizabeth and dumped, it weighed heavy on me. And so I had a vision of doing a soup kitchen in Montego Bay. And it has blossomed into more than a soup kitchen now because we have joined with the St. James Parish Council and signed a memorandum of understanding. So we kind of work together. They supply certain things and we run the program pretty much under the eyes of the Poor Relief Department and the St. James Parish Council.
Our main goal is to get as much people off the street as possible. So, and you know the clients look out for each other. So we get a lot of new persons every day. We see new people every day. So when we say, oh, did you hear about us? They'll say, oh, you know, I saw a street person. They said, this is where you have to be. So they look out for each other. If we don't see somebody 2-3 days in a row, we'll say, what happened to Roy, what happened to Bob, and they'll say, oh, you know, somebody hit him and he had to go to the hospital. So if you need to know anything about the clients, you ask a client. I think here really shows you what life is about and actually gets you to become humble. So you don't hold on to material things because we have seen that it don't last.
The Loving Hands Children's Network is an organization based overseas, and Caring Hands caught up with the founders during an outreach mission in Jamaica.
Loving Hands Children's Network is a social enterprise. We're a community organisation based in the United Kingdom. We've set ourselves up to help those in need, as in children, young adults with disabilities, those that are disenfranchised, and those young children, young people who are in real need, home and away. We have 5 representatives that work with us. We're all volunteers. Abigail and I, as we said, are co-founders. We have 2 local representatives here in Jamaica. We have 2 representatives in the UK, and we have 1 who's a brand ambassador that's based in the United States of America. We're here to launch our Feeding Our Future campaign and to share our organisation with you guys in Jamaica.
I got a dream, and I wanted to fulfill that dream. So Antoinette and I became really close from working in the school because that's where our daughter attends, and I presented that dream to her, and because I look up to her as a mentor as well, which I don't think she knows, but so I decided to present that to her, being business-minded as she is, and I decided to bring it to life, really. And the name came to me in a dream, as I said, and we wanted to add something else to the name that could broaden it. So that's when Antoinette decided, let's call it a children's network, and that's how the name came about.
The National Baking Company Foundation, through its Little Leaders initiative, provided all institutions registered with the Early Childhood Commission, ECC, with learning kits, packaged by volunteers and staff at the National Bakery Warehouse.
It's an early childhood initiative where we have been distributing kits to approximately 2,500 schools across the island, right throughout the island. This is the first year for Little Leaders, but it's the 4th year for National being on board with this kind of initiative. We are packing approximately 3,500 boxes. Some schools will receive A and B boxes depending on their size, and some schools will receive A boxes. The schools will come to various centers in the corporate area and collect their boxes. So our team of volunteers will go out again and ensure that each school receives their kits, they sign for their kits, and then they collect their kits. And basically they're on their way after that.
August 1 has collected from Korean Count, now Little Leaders. I'm expecting my teachers and students to be excited. I mean, students are excited by anything with colors. They're not going to be seeing it today. Teachers are going to, go into the box first, and we decide the age group for each thing, and then we put them on the different learning centers. I'd like to say to National and to Little Leaders, thank you so much. It will go a far way. Our students will appreciate it, teachers will appreciate it. Continue doing the good work.
The National Company and the Little Leaders Group, I just want to say thank you and continue to do the work that you are doing, because you're not only helping the children now, but in future they'll be better citizens.
The Caribbean Community of Retired Persons, CCRP, is a non-profit membership organization that caters to persons 50 years and over, retired, or preparing for retirement. Members are able to access major health benefits.
CCRP can offer seniors, people 50 and over, a major medical health insurance package for 12,500 Jamaican per annum, and it qualifies them for up to $5 million of major medical, which means surgery, MRI, anesthetist, dialysis, chemotherapy, radiation, up to 5 million. And let me tell you, we started it year before last, actually it's year before last, because the claims have now been coming in and people have come and told us that we have saved them from poverty. Because if they had had to find those monies, it would have been so difficult. And I'm very grateful to Sagicor because the claims that they've been paying out actually exceeds the premiums they've been receiving. So it is now, at this point, highly subsidized, and I want to really encourage Jamaicans to join CCRP and to sign up for this insurance, which is so affordable. But if we don't get enough people on board, the premiums may go up. So, and the people who I am encouraging in particular are young professionals, because they are responsible for their elders. And when your parents or your grandparents get sick and you are not able to find it, or you are going to have to go and find it from somewhere and put yourself in debt, it's just not worth it if you have this opportunity. So I want to encourage young professionals to sign up their parents. The membership fee for CCRP at this point is 1,000 Jamaican dollars per annum.
Coming up on Caring Hands.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life, delighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On point, dissecting the issues. Offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On Point, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Caring Hands met with the president of the Jamaica Red Cross, Dr. Dennis Edwards, during their visit to the community of Seavright Gardens.
The Jamaica Red Cross is a humanitarian organization, first and foremost, and it is one of the national societies of the International Federation of the Red Cross and International Federation of the Red Cross and the Red Crescent, actually. And we are an auxiliary to the government of Jamaica since 1964, which means that by way of law, statute of parliament, we are obliged to support the government in anything the government requires us to do with respect to humanitarianism, particularly so in times of disasters. Consistent with the mandate of our international movement, our broad objective is to save lives, reduce human suffering, and preserve the dignity of people under any and all circumstances. As a part of the international movement, we are one of 190 societies around the world, with the society's origin way back 150 years ago out of a military war type event in Sofferino, a city in Italy, where our founder, Henry Donald, actually was very concerned about the wounded on the battlefield. Hence, the International Federation of the Red Cross was formed initially to assist wounded soldiers. And then from that, it propagated all across the world and actually became involved not only in times of war, but in times of peace where people are suffering.
The Digicel Foundation hosted their Face of Change competition earlier this year, and the top 6 finalists were highlighted on Caring Hands. The We Care to Share initiative, the Christianapolis Youth Club, Feeding of the 5,000, the Eastwood Gardens Youth for Progress Youth Club, Princesses and Ladies Inc., and the first place winners, the Bethel New Testament Church of God.
Bethel New Testament Church of God has been, over the years, a church that caters to the need of the less fortunate. And we serve the community of Arnett Gardens, Lincoln Road, Russell Road, Top Jungle, and other surrounding areas. And we have been playing a vital role in offering services. We have an early childhood institution here. We have a feeding program as well. We also offer services to the community with our computer lab. So persons who are, doing like CXC, information technology, those who are doing their SBAs, they come on over and print, and just about anything that has to do with computer and information technology. We try to offer the best services we can. Our church has quite a number of programs that are running. For teenagers, we have what is called the Performing Arts Ministry. And mostly teenagers are drawn to the Performing Arts Ministry. And we have young adults who supervise them and all of that. We also have what is called the benevolence arm of the church that caters to the needs of the less fortunate. And so the benevolence arm of the church basically takes care of those who are in need, whether they are in need of food items, financial needs, and so forth.
The Benevolent Committee is something that goes to help people who are in need. You just don't help in just food or, you give love, you listen, you participate in their lives, whatever it is that they are in need of. The Benevolent Committee will try to assist in that area.
The Non-GO2's Chaplaincy Services branch of the Jamaica Constabulary Force Chaplaincy provides holistic support to members of the JCF.
The chaplaincy primary focus is on the total man, spiritual, physical, and emotional. So it's a holistic approach that we have in terms of how we minister to the men and women in the ground. It is highly pastoral, and therefore spiritual care is very important. Secondly, their mental care, because we offer counseling, we offer crisis intervention, we offer grief counseling also, family counseling, we do counsel children. As I said, the spiritual core is important, and therefore our members, we provide devotions, and for funerals we commit our members to include sometimes family members and also persons who are unsworn to the JCF. So those are basically the pillars in which the chaplaincy is based on. Our service that we provide is for both sworn and unsworn members. So civilian staff, those who work within the JCF, we also provide services for them and their children also. They're not only sworn police officers. If you're unsworn and you're within the family of a JCF, you simply make a call and to the respective, because we have 7 other assistant chaplains across the island, and therefore based on where you're based. But we're open. You make a call, make an appointment, and you can walk in, right? So that's our primary mode in terms of how we access counseling. The second one is that persons sometimes are referred to us, and these are persons who have critical cases, and they're referred by supervisors. So those are the 2 ways. You can walk in, call, or you may be referred to see us.
The Starkey Hearing Foundation recently visited Jamaica on a mission to provide hearing health care to over 500 Jamaicans.
The whole focus for Starkey Hearing Foundation is we have 52 sustainable programs currently worldwide, and the Caribbean region was untouched for them in some way, shape or form. And so this whole year we've been focusing on getting persons from the region, the Caribbean region, involved in our programs, allowing persons in islands around the region to receive hearing health care through the Starkey Hearing Foundation. We've been rolling out what we call phase 1s, phase 2s in different parts of the region. We're here in Jamaica today, but we've been to Guyana, We've been to Trinidad and Tobago. We've done St. Kitts Nevis. We've also done Dominica. We've been to St. Croix, US Virgin Islands as well. We are ensuring that the Caribbean region gets the type of hearing health care that is deserving unto them.
Well, Starkey reached out to us because they wanted to do some work here in Jamaica and they were looking for valuable partnerships. And so they approached us. And for us, it was, I think, easy because we have been looking for ways that we can really work with the special needs community here in Jamaica. And a big problem is providing assistive aids for persons who either are completely disabled or really just need assistance for them to become more included. And so when we heard of the possibility to work with Starkey Foundation, where they were, one, doing testing, providing health solutions, as well as providing the hearing aids themselves, for us, easy, had to.
CBA got on board when Tamian, the coordinator for Starkey Foundation, contacted us and was in a dilemma in terms of finding a location for this occasion. And when she contacted us, I told her that I would just check the board because more than likely we'll come on board and assist. The board didn't take too long in terms of okaying that they could come and use the facility here. And basically we try to put out everything at their disposal in order to make this occasion quite comfortable for them and the rest of the people that comes here for the testing.
Join us for Season 4 of Caring Hands, where we'll share with you even more organizations working towards building a better society.
Sundays at 4:30 p.m. It's all about home sweet home. Get your half-hour dose of the business of real estate, from laws and concepts to reality, building, buying, or renting. Or what about trends in decor or renovations? Home Sweet Home will keep you up to date.